All right, so I've been getting this question a ton lately, and it's, should women do the same type of workouts as men? So I'm diving into this topic. Get ready for episode 235. Let's go.
The future of fitness.
How do you gain muscle mass?
Fitness is not complicated. It's simple when you break it down.
There's so much information out there.
No fads, no diets, just plain simple habits.
You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast.
Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Ryan Parody, and I will be your host today. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. So glad to have you here. It is just an honor to be able to spend some time with you. For my return listeners, thank you for coming back. It means truly the world to me that you continue to tune into this podcast week after week and listen to my little rants about different topics. I am super excited to announce, my new Patreon page. Now, I know Patreon pages are everywhere, right? So what is unique about this one? First off, if you get any value out of the podcast, I think you'll get a lot of value out of the Patreon page. I have a few different tiers, but basically you get to work out with me. That's right. Depending on what tier you choose, you get to tune into a live workout where I go through, literally sit there in my gym and work out and talk you through the workout. If you missed the live, you can go back and watch it. And then in addition to that, I have another tier where in addition to the live workout, you also get a live group chat where I get to sit down with you and have like a question and answer where you can ask any question. All these are held over Zoom. So check out the Patreon page. I will have that linked in the show notes. So definitely go check that out. And I hope to see you on a live workout or live call. All right, with that being said, let's dive in. So should women work out the same way as men? Oftentimes the question that I get asked, and for some reason I've been getting it a lot lately, is women coming up and asking me if on social media, should I do, I'll demonstrate exercises, certain amount of reps, certain amount of weight, and they'll ask, should I do this if I just want to get some definition? And the answer is absolutely. So I kind of want to clear up like what the difference is between bulking and getting a more defined look, because typically what I see, and not across the board, but most of the questions I get, women are saying, I want to get a defined look, but I don't want to gain size. And so I want to try to answer that question. So to gain actual size when you're weightlifting, you have to be eating in order to gain size. In other words, if you're lifting weights and you're doing strength training, whether you're a woman or a man, and you are eating in a either maintenance level or a deficit, you are not going to gain size. You will gain muscle, but you're not going to get that big bulky look. Why? Because you're not consuming enough calories for your body to basically take those and build onto your muscle. Does that make sense? It's not the weightlifting that, adds the size or causes the definition. It is the food. So that is the most important thing to look at. So, if you're wanting to get a defined look, and I try to steer away from the term toning because toning is really not a thing. Basically, when we say toning, what we mean is a more defined look. And that happens through losing more body fat percentage and developing more muscle at the same time. And so what happens is then we have that quote unquote toned look. But in essence, what that really is it's just a lower body fat percentage. So our muscles pop a little bit more. So yeah, you can do the same exact workouts, the same exact exercises, the same amount of weights. For far too long, there's been this misconception that to get that defined look, you've got to lift light weights and do a lot of reps. And to get that bulky look, you do heavy weights and low reps. And that's just simply not true. The amount of reps you do, the amount of weight you do has zero to do with getting bulky or getting more of a defined look. It has nothing to do with that. Truly, I personally believe that your staple, whether you're trying to define, whether you're trying to bulk up, as far as weightlifting goes, the staple should be 3 sets, 12 to 15 reps. And to go as heavy as you can and still hit at least 12 reps on each set. That should be kind of the bread and butter. That's your maintenance, so to speak, what you do on a normal basis. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't change things up because it's always good to change things up. I've talked before about the macrocycles and microcycles and changing up your rep range, changing up your weight from week to week. And I definitely think you should do that. If you're not familiar with that, definitely go back and check out some podcast episodes on that because I have plenty of them. You really want to, focus on lifting heavy, regardless of what your goal is. You don't have to be afraid that you're going to put on too much size or not enough size or anything like that. Like lift heavy as you can while still maintaining good form, while still going slow on each repetition, and you will be good. The nutrition portion is what you've got to pay attention to. You've got to focus on how much you are eating. Are you eating in a maintenance level? Are you eating in a deficit? Are you eating in an excess? If you're trying to gain size, then you need to be eating in an excess. So if you are, trying to bulk up, let's say you're trying to gain size, you're going to lift the way I just explained, but you're going to have to eat in an excess of calories, because if you're only eating a maintenance level or lower, guess what? Your body can't build on what it already has. It's going to take those nutrients, it's going to put them to good use, and it can only grow your muscles so much. It's kind of like if you have, let's say you want to build this 10-foot Lego building, right? And you have all these Legos, but you only have enough Legos to maybe do a 2-foot Lego building. You can't just create them out of thin air. It's the same way with calories. You can't just pull this size out of nowhere. You've got to be getting it from an excess of calories. Let's say you're happy with your size, you just want a more defined look. I would focus on a maintenance level or just slightly under. And when I say slightly under, maybe 300 calories under your maintenance level. I would focus on that and continue to lift heavy. And that should get you where you want to go. Now, if you're wanting to, let's say you need to lose several points of body percentage to get that defined look. You also want to drop a few pounds. Then you're going to eat in a deficit, at least 500 calorie deficit a day, and continue to lift weights heavy. What you're going to do again, you're going to lift heavy, but eat in that deficit. That's going to give you that more defined look. You're not going to gain any size. It's impossible for you to gain size. You will gain muscle, but you won't gain the size. You'll get that more defined look. Another thing that I really want to point out is it's very, very important where your calories come from. And I'm going to have another episode coming out later this week talking about the importance of where your calories come from. But you can't just eat garbage, even if it's the right levels, and expect to get the results you want. Because if let's say I'm trying to gain size, I can't eat 5,000 calories of Oreos and expect to build muscle, because my body's just going to process that as fat and all this other crap, and it'll make me bigger, but not in the way that I want to. The reverse is true. If I'm eating in a deficit and I'm still wanting to gain some muscle and really be healthy, if I'm just eating, even if I'm eating, in a deficit of 500 calories and I'm only eating like 1,500 calories a day, if I'm just eating garbage, my body can't do anything with the nutrition that I'm giving it. And so I will be basically just not working towards any of those goals, if that makes sense. So I hope this helps. If you have any further questions, feel free to hit me up. I am everywhere online at Bones to Bulk. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, you name it. Just shoot me a DM. Instagram is probably the best place to reach out to me, or you can email me directly at brian@bonestobulk.com. Again, all that will be linked in the show notes. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're facing, remember you can overcome anything that you set your mind to. You can accomplish any goal. Nothing is impossible, no matter what anybody's told you or if you failed in the past. You've got this.